So welcome to another Thursday Thought. As we've been entering into this journey with digital transformation of a number of our customers, I've come to realize that probably the most important part of a customer's digital transformation journey is actually establishing their strategy from a leadership perspective. So trying to adopt technology in a digital transformation project is going to be completely fruitless and a waste of time and effort if it's not part of a broader strategy that leadership has actually bought into. So I created this one-pager to kind of describe, I think, the steps that organizations need to go through to really have an effective digital transformation journey. Check it out. So the first step is to obviously digitize the information. So this is taking what is paper-based and actually digitizing it, collecting data through sensors, whatever that might be. So it's taking what is typically done manually in terms of collecting information and digitizing it. The next step is obviously organizing that. That might be creating charts, information, converting the data into information so that's much more useful. And all of this process is really the digitization of the data. The next part is automating some processes. So for example, if there's a production number that reaches a certain threshold, you want to get a message. So automating that. Automating the creation of charts. So going from Excel into some Power BI or some analytics platform, as an example. And then from there you can start to streamline the process where from the charts you can then derive information and optimize certain processes on the shop floor or whatever your digital transformation is really about. And this is what we call digitalization, so the automation of processes that are already digital. But I think the most important part and the hardest part is really around digital transformation of the business. And basically what this is actually taking an organization that is previously reactive, so reacting to information that has already happened, but actually using that information to actually predict and be proactive, preventing bad things and predicting good things. So this is the hardest part. So it's an actual cultural change. It's a mindset shift change where people go from a reactive mindset to a proactive mindset. And this is easier said than done. So you can apply whatever technology you want, whatever digital equipment and data tracking, whatever analytics platform you want. If you don't change the culture of the organization to think data first, to be a data-driven organization, you'll never achieve your digital transformation of your business. And I think this is the reason why we have all of these technologies, is to facilitate this cultural change at the end of the day. So you could actually transform your business by changing the culture. Digital is a tool to support that cultural change. So I think changing your culture is the most important part. So some of the outcomes is obviously eliminating paperwork, real-time visibility provides a lot of information, and I think people have a misconception about real-time visibility. All real-time visibility does is actually show you how bad you're performing quicker, which is useful, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change how you're performing. It just displays to you quicker, enables you to react faster, but you're still in a reactive mode. Obviously, reporting by exception is important. You don't want to be flooded with a bunch of information. You only want to know the important information when it's necessary. And finally, the most important part, I heard this term on the internet, it really resonated with me, is really around this idea of social intelligence. So this is where our organization becomes much more social, they collaborate a lot better, and they derive intelligence out of the data that we're collaborating on in a proactive manner. So I really like the term social intelligence. And this is the goal of digital transformation, is to make our organization much more socially intelligent. Some of the principles that we adopt with our customers when we go through the digital transformation journey with them is really around putting people first. As I mentioned, digital transformation is a strategy and a cultural change in an organization. It is not a technology change. Technology supports that cultural change, so people have to be first. I think having a unified data model is really critical and fundamental. This is where they say the data is the new goal, and so an organization actually need to own their data. So one of the only technology steps that I think needs to be part of the digital strategy is to define the data model, and the organization needs to own the data model. By establishing the right data model, we allow interoperability between different systems. So a system from a vendor A can work with a system from vendor B. This is really fundamental, and that data model needs to be owned and managed by the organization. This is the only critical technology step I believe is fundamental to an organization's digital transformation journey. And then finally, it has to be designed with AI and ML in mind. So designing systems without thinking about the opportunities that AI and machine learning can actually bring the organization can be a real waste of time, because at the end you will need AI and machine learning to be competitive and stay relevant in the marketplace. So your data model, your people first, has to be designed with AI in mind. And finally, to achieve digital transformation, it is really centered around a cultural change where an organization becomes a data-driven organization. And I really believe that if you fail to change your organization to be data-driven, you will be left behind. Here's another Thursday thought.